exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy, and I finally won an award. Woo, 2 of them, as a matter of fact. So if you want to take a quick look over here, you've seen this stuff over here. You saw that in the haul video from Springfield, where I met the auction professor. Definitely check that video out if you haven't. These books over here, I talked about on a live show. Do check that out, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Great estate sale. Went into it on that video as well. Pretty much just driving around right now. I think just setting up. I need to get a card table. I can go set up in any parking lot anywhere. So of course, because I've got all this stuff sitting out in the car and the house packed to the gills, and I went to Madison Bachville where I did a haul video and got lots more stuff. On a nice sunny day like this, you go to the flea market, because you gotta buy when you can. And we ended up picking up these things over here, plus the awards. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes as we tell you what we got. A little deep dive into what you can find out there. So we're back inside and organized. Sorry I was a little off my game when I was outside. My allergies have been bothering me the last day and a half or so. Not certain whether it's because of the pollen and I was outside at Madison Bachville, I was outside at the flea market today, or if it was because the house that I went to with the estate sale on Saturday, I believe they had pets. So right after I left that house, and of course I went back a couple of times, my eyes were all watery. So it's one of the things that happens to you out there. I should take Benadryl, but then I'd be loopier than usual, so we decided not to do that. So we've got our finds here, and make sure you stay till the end of the video because I'm going to show you the best thing that we bought. Ended up spending $175, but I got some pretty good tips for you about it. These over here, which I had shown earlier, it's really hard to see, but it says, I think one's 1913 and one is 1914, Twilight Baseball League Champions. And I was sitting there trying to read it, and the guy was pretty firm on his price. And I couldn't quite figure out who it was for. And then I saw this picture, which unfortunately is really, really damaged. But it's got the team name on it. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be some kind of a factory team. Great. And then all of a sudden I saw this other picture, which gives me the clue. It's, and I don't know how to pronounce it, the Hewitt Weaving Department. So they won some sort of a baseball championship and some sort of a league. So I wanted to keep this all together for historic purposes. I'm going to hang on to it for quite a while, I think, and it's one of those things, it's not going to go down in value whatsoever. I have $110 into the 4 pieces, and as the gentleman, after the gentleman sold it to me, he's looking at it going, I don't know if that's silver plate. I have no idea. I wonder, it could be sterling. He goes, the deal's done. And he was like, I don't want to know. I said, hey, for what it's worth, I'm going to keep it all together. I'm going to save it for a while. Kind of thing that I would not have looked at last year, to be quite honest with you. But as I'm into the hobby more and more, I'm saying, you know, these are one-of-a-kind items, just great items. Hang on to it. It's got a lot of history. And that's part of what our job is to preserve history when we're doing it. We want to make a couple of dollars, but we also want to preserve history. So we're going to keep that all together, and at some point I'll end up selling it off. Did go over to another gentleman with whom I've dealt with through the years, and I noticed he had something similar to what I had bought previously, the prior year. So I mentioned, I think I bought one of these from you last year. And he probably didn't remember at all, but now in his head, I deal with him all the time, because I do. I buy from him 3, 4, 5 times a year at the sales. So I kind of was going through the stuff he had, and all sports stuff, but kind of neat stuff. Like I bought these over here because Global Park in Arlington, the final homestand. Now, they're probably not worth a ton right now, 2019, but still, 2 of these over here. They're not making them anymore. Hang on to those. And then I got this over here, spring 2020, fairly new. But the reason why I bought this is I think he charged $1 on it. If you look on the back, it's got $14.95 original price. I said, hey, somebody or other wants this. They're going to give me $10 for it anyway, because they would have had to pay $14 for it new. And there aren't not a lot of those printed, I'm certain. And then he did have these. He wanted $5 a piece on. Now, he did end up giving me a pretty good deal overall. He charged me $22 for about $30 worth of stuff. Heisman Trophy press kit, and he even took the time to write, Tim Brown and Vinny Testaverde, the people that won it that year. But they're there in the original envelopes and all that, and they're all the things that the Heisman Trophy would have sent out. in order to mention their award ceremony and everything. So for $5, they didn't make a lot of these. I don't even know who would have received these in the first place. I know I cannot go wrong at that. People do collect Vinny Testaverde, they collect Tim Brown, they collect Heisman stuff, so cannot go wrong at that price. And then I saw this. He had two of these programs, $3 a piece. Unfortunately, they put the sticker right on here, but $3 each. And then I started looking at this, and I said, that's an Anthony Munoz autograph. And sometimes things are printed. Well, he had the other one right next to it that did not have this on it. I said, heck, the program alone is worth more than $3, let alone Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz. We're going to buy that for $3. There's no reason not to do so. So do look. I know a good friend of the channel, Auction Professor, talks all the time about you can find autographs. You most certainly can. There's no doubt at all about that. On the way out, I did pick up something for $1 that it's long tail, definitely a long tail, and not the greatest of shape, but definitely worth picking up. It's a Hearth and Home magazine, and it's funny. It's got $1 price there, $1 price there, so it's been changing hands at $1 throughout the years, plenty of times. But people do collect these. It's the artist's signature is on there, so you know who did the artwork on it, and it's got a really rustic cover on it. So people will definitely buy this kind of thing. It'll take forever to sell, but I'll end up getting $20 out of it. So it was worth investing the $1 today and just kind of listing it and forgetting about it. A few other things that I picked up. There were a couple of dealers. One dealer I've dealt with regularly, and definitely carry business cards with you. I walked right into the sale, and one dealer saw me and says, "Hey, paper guy, I need your phone number." I said, "Here's my business card." He goes, "Great. I've got I keep all my stuff over on," he named the street, and he said, "Now I got your number, I'm going to give you a call directly." I said, "Yeah, great. And then the other gentleman had paper stuff at 50 cents a piece, and he said, "I'm going to be having a sale." I said, "Well, give me a call," because I've dealt with him before. And he goes, I said, here's my card. He goes, "All right, yeah, when I go across stuff, rather than setting it all up for the sale, if I know it's stuff you want, I'll just call and have you come over before I set it up for the sale." I said, "Great, that's wonderful, because I'd rather get in there before other people have pawed through it, obviously." But he had stuff for 50 cents a piece, and I believe I ended up buying this and a few other things off of him at 50 cents a piece. Now, I did drive a hard bargain with the gentleman. He's basically giving this stuff away. I'm going to make decent money off of this over here, and I've dealt with him for years. And remember, I gave him my business card, so I want him to remember me fondly, that I'm not arguing with him over price, I'm not beating him up. It came to $24.50. I said, let's make it an even $25, and I just gave him $25. I overpaid. I paid more than what he wanted. That's 50 cents well invested, because now in his head, I mean, he's always dealt with me and knowing I'm easy enough to deal with, but in his head, geez, the guy even gives me extra money. So for 50 cents, well worth it on that. Did buy some interesting things here I want to show you, but I want to give you another little tip. There was a lady there that had stuff that she was asking, she was asking $1.50 on this, and she had $5 on another BMX magazine. Well, I went through the other BMX magazine, and it was missing about 2/3 of itself. So I said, well, I'm not buying that one. And then she had Snoopy magazines, which I've never bought before. She had two of them at $1.50 and one at $7.50. I said, why are they different prices? So I made sure that I pulled out and looked through the ones for $1.50. Sure enough, they were missing the poster inside of them. So you definitely want to check. Now, had she had them all priced at $1.50 or $1, I probably would have just bought them all and not looked. But because of the difference in price, I said, well, why is it? They all look to be about the same. So she clued me to it by pricing accordingly. Sometimes people will write as is, they'll write missing poster. She didn't put anything on there, but she changed the price. Also picked this up for $1.50. They aren't hot sellers by any means whatsoever, but for $1.50, that's well worth it. She did have a bunch of stuff on the ground, a box that I almost walked by, and then I started looking through it, and I made a pile of stuff, and I was kind of excited because there were a couple of really good things in there, and she started adding them up, and she goes, it ended up being $0.25 a piece for the stuff on the ground, which was amazingly cheap. Did get this, which the Highlight program, actually they do not go for a lot, but they're very, very cool. And the people that collect the Highlight would definitely like something or other like this. It's from the 1940s. Then I picked up, a nice circus program, a nice program over here with some great graphics on it. I mean, that is incredible graphics on it, from Potsdam, New York. So people will buy it for the graphics, they'll buy it because it's from Potsdam. It's from 1947, a nice item. Picked up this item, which I have to do a little more research into. Rochester Professional Football Club Program 1937. I don't know what Rochester had for the football back then, but some of these guys went to Purdue, Iowa, etc. So who knows exactly how good this item might be. Could be really, really good. I don't know. So we're going to hang on to that one and check that one out. And then this was only a quarter, which is unbelievable. American League Baseball Club, New York Yankees versus Cleveland Indians, 1940 scorecard. And if you look in the center, there are a few players that you may have heard of, such as, Joe DiMaggio. So it's pretty neat item over here to have. For a quarter, you cannot go wrong. That may just find its way to my collection room for the short term and end up being sold at a later date. A few other quick things over here. So I had picked up this over here, and this was from a guy with 50 cents. I took it, I started opening and saw it's some kind of a map, and I said, what am I doing opening it? It's 50 cents. Going to be well worth it on that over there. Anytime you find old maps, they're definitely worth it. Pick this up, which you'll see probably on a Facebook or YouTube video, some YouTube auction at some point in the future. I'm going to start accumulating things like this just because of the graphics, because I don't really do anything at all with these, but that's a nice graphics on that, so that'll be nice to sell. Journal de l'Atlantique, there we go. I just kind of did a quick look, and then suddenly I saw news received daily by wireless telegraphy. And I'm wondering if this isn't something from a ship or what it's from. I don't really know. But I said for 50 cents, I'm going to spend some time researching it, and it'll probably be pretty good. These things you can find out there all the time, and they do sell. They're often hidden inside of programs and playbills. People do buy them, so you should buy them. Lois Lenski. This is a bookmark, and I know Auction Professor talks about bookmarks all the time. Lois Lenski is a famous author of kids' books, and this is a Lois Lenski bookmark. I don't know what it's worth. I do know it's worth more than 50 cents. Couldn't argue with that. And then he had these over here, which I believe one of these over here had marked on it what it was from. And it was from the early to mid 1800s. I mean, that's obviously hand-colored print. And again, he was asking pretty much nothing on them. A lot of $3, ended up charging 50 cents on 5 of them. So things like this are going to definitely go well. And did pick up some more maps, as I was talking about. You definitely want to pick them up. People do buy these maps by themselves. They're two-sided over there in California. So that certainly will sell at 50 cents. You'd want to buy it. This one I thought was kind of neat. Men's attire. Now, it's not in the greatest of shape, but it's 1897 fashion. How many of these can possibly be out there? And as Mr. Magazine, if he were here, would say one. So you can pretty much name your price on something or other like this. Somebody's going to want to research the fashion from back then. It's 40, 50 bucks, something or other like that, I betcha. Got this over here. I don't really do a lot with boxes, but I said, heck, it's a old box, Nature's Remedy. People buy these kind of things. They set them up. They might, somebody might buy it from a movie or TV show, use it as a prop in the background. Whatever the case happens to be, cannot be a lot of them out there. They're not making these anymore. And then I picked this up, which I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a copy. I got to do a bunch of research into it. But it's dated July 2nd, 1774. I said for 50, I asked him, I go, do you know what this is? And he goes, no. And he starts looking at it. And I go, you know something, I'll just take it. For 50 cents, worst case scenario, it's some kind of a reprint or something or other like that. I have no idea. Well worth 50 cents. And then just a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff I bought from that lady for a real cheap price, $0.25 a piece on most of the stuff over here. That I did pay $2 for. I've always noted before, though, that if you do see celebrations from towns, you definitely do want to pick them up. You definitely also want to hit the like video. And you definitely also want to see the best thing at all of the sale. So I was walking around with Mrs. Papergoy, and there was a guy that was selling cheese and cheese curds and all that. And we usually, as we've shown in the past, we buy beef jerky. Well, unfortunately, the beef jerky people, as we call them, the jerky people, were not there. So we're like, oh, no jerky today, and we were kind of sad about it. And suddenly we saw this place had jerky, $2 a piece, if you bought in bulk. So, we went and got the honey ham jerky and the beef jerky and all that. We're all very, very happy about getting things like this over here because, fill you up, tastes great. And then, of course, who can pass up things like maple duck jerky, camel jerky? I figure it's cheaper to buy it here than to fly over there and buy it. Wild boar jerky, Alaskan salmon jerky, alligator jerky, and everyone's favorite when they were growing up, kangaroo jerky. So, you never know what you're going to find out there at the flea market. Hit the like button. Comment down below on anything that I bought here other than Papergoy. How do you stay so thin when you're going to be the one eating 85% of this jerky? I don't know. Don't have the answer to that. And we will see you next video.